Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening and welcome back to Computerized Start Live. I'm your host, Justin D. Morgan, and I hope I have bandwidth tonight. But at least I have people in the chat, so let's see who we have in the chat. We have Jack68K. Hi, Jack. We have Francois. Oh, Francois is letting us know he's got to wake up early for the micro alchemy. All right, well, good luck with that, Francois. We have SadMac356. Hi, SadMac. We have Hardware Hacker. Hi, Hardware Hacker. We have I83D6SX. Hi, Jesse. We have Gutbomb. Hi, Jason. Jack says, someone is late to their own delayed stream. Hey, I had a shirt in the dryer that wasn't drying. So, you wanted me to end the stream early because I was chilled. Then I could have pulled the damp shirt out to the dryer, but I decided I'd rather let it dry a little bit more so that I didn't get a chill and have to end the stream early. We have Thomas Armstrong. Hi, Thomas. We have Gutbomb saying the 2SI video out next week featuring a guest appearance by this guy called Justin D. Morgan. Sounds suspicious. We have E-Vibes. Hi, E-Vibes. We have Mr. Tech Gadget. Hi, Mr. Tech Gadget. All right, we have the coffee goal. The link is in the description. I changed it slightly. Alerts are probably still broken because I don't know how to fix something when the test alert works and the actual alerts don't. So you've been forewarned. I'm going to try to update OBS, but before I do that, I have to update video card drivers, and if I'm going through that trouble, I'm going to at least swap video cards in the streaming computer to one that can do a slightly newer version of NVENC. So that's a this weekend activity. I'm hoping that updating OBS might magically fix it. Either that or I gotta go to Windows 11, and the HPZ 440 doesn't natively support that. So there's that. All right, let's see here. Jack says you have to update video card drivers to update OBS. That's peak Windows. Certain features of OBS, when they add new features, because I'll be doing a major version update. I'm still on OBS 31. They recommend you update your video card drivers to a certain version, and I'm fairly sure I'm before that. Yes, and that is peak Windows. We have David Starbuck. Hi, David. Yeah, if I'm going to go through the trouble of reinstalling graphics card drivers, I'm just going to swap the video card in, too. Because one way or another, I found new video card swaps usually work good if you reinstall video card drivers. So if I'm going to have to update the latest NVIDIA Studio drivers or whatever they call them, I might as well just swap the video card in too. We have Mike's Future Retro. Hi, Mike. All right. I hope you all like the shirt I bought. The costume I bought will just make a surprise appearance at some point in the future, so I'm keeping the surprise. Yeah, it's even got the dinosaur on it. Anyways, let's see here. All right. I know you all are waiting for something that may or may not be happening tonight, but we are first going to go to the table cam to see what my bench looked like at the end of the stream Monday. Not that anyone could probably see it, But I figured out why the Quadra 700 did not like my VRAM sims. And that is because I had the VRAM sims in these two slots, because these are the first two you can insert a module in. But apparently, if you are installing two VRAM sims, they have to go in these two slots. And if you were then installing the extra megabyte, because I think the supported steps are onboard memory plus 1 megabyte or plus a megabyte and a half to bring you up to 2 megabytes. Well, you have to remove these two to install the other 4, which is why I thought they would go here, but, well, Apple reasons. So that's why it didn't see my VRAM sims. That's why the Quadra 700 still on the bench, was just so I could show you. And I'm sure if you all had been able to see that at the horrific bitrate I was seeing at the end of the stream, someone would have probably been screaming in the chat, but I doubt anyone could tell the VRAM sims apart from the rest of the blur. And if anyone's wondering, I haven't gone back to watch the stream to see how bad it got, because I don't know, it's that thing about people not liking to watch themselves talk. So I only do it when necessary, not when Comcast makes me. So there you go. Brutal honesty. Jack says it was fine. It was still fun. Anyways, I thought I would give you the update because at some point someone was probably going to say something about the incorrect sim placement. Also, as another update, the capacitors that I could not remember what they went to. The ones where I don't know where I put the bag, but the ones where I just wrote C520 to C522 or something like that. I was like, man, I wish I'd put more on the bag because I've now forgotten what they go to. I remembered what they go to. They go to one of the Tandy 1400 power supplies. So there we go. I now know what they go to. I've probably now lost the capacitors. All right. Let's see here. Do a short mail call. I have an item here from Eric's Edge. So I thought I would open it first. Oh, okay. Jack's saying there were some times where the video was very pixelated, but the audio was good. All right, well, I guess at least that's good to know that on dynamic bitrate that OBS is still prioritizing making sure that you're at least able to be heard. Jesse says something about... Oh. Mike's saying he's still rocking a 5770 on a 5.1 Mac and OBS. Jesse says, OBS finally fixed the crashing on exit problem I had since upgrading to Windows 11 on my streaming PC with version 32. Just an HP Elite Desk 800 G4 Mini. All right. I don't want to, reveal addresses, so that's why I'm kind of opening it right here. And... probably should come as no surprise. Oh, Eric put a copy of the packing slip inside. I have Adventure, the Quack of Dawn. Wow, look at this. This is going to be so much fun. There we go. Minimum system software and memory requirements. Apple Macintosh, Power Macintosh, or PowerBook. Running OS 7 or later with at least 4 megabytes. Let's see here. Oh, Mini VMac for Microsoft Windows, Linux, or OS X configured as a Quadra 800. And... oh, HyperCard 241. All right. So there we go. Look at this. Nice boxed copy of Adventure, the Quack of Dawn. Hi, Eric. Thank you. I got your... the box you sent me, as is probably obvious by me showing it here. So, for full disclosure, yeah, Eric says, look, it's my game. Eric, I'm going to go ahead and unbox it, just right here. So, I was sent this because I did some voice acting for the game. So, you will, Cup Up says, the value, you unsealed it. I actually want to play it. Looky here. We have a survival guide. Ooh. Oh, wow. This is, like, really nice. Cup Up says, I unsealed mine, too. And we have a game editor guide. Oh, wow. Look at this. 2 manuals. Nowadays, you're lucky to get a single sheet of paper with a QR code on it. Like a piece of paper this side with the QR code on it. And we have an Eric's Edge sticker. And we have a, a rubber ducky. With the... Oh, with eyelashes. And we have, oh, there we go. We've got the adventure sticker. And we have the welcome to adventure game. And even that's more than you usually get with stuff nowadays. Even if, of course, that's assuming you can even get it in the box. We have the CD. And we have the game map. Wow, look at this. Very nice, Eric. Oh, Eric says, the squeak is muted to make the duck safe. Ah. All right. This is a very nice set. I will enjoy playing this at some time. I might actually just have to do a stream where I check it out. I might be a bit late to the game, but hey. So, very nice set, Eric. Oh. If you squeeze the duck quickly, it will quack. Oh. I think my, oh, there we go. All right. It quacks. Derek says, usually, yeah. You squeeze the duck quickly, it will quack, usually. All right. So now that I've got the mail call done and I've tempted fate on losing parts of my Amazon order. Let me put this somewhere where I will find it. I ordered some feeler gauges from Amazon and a PS4 controller membrane set because, well, I think my PS4 controller has a bad membrane somewhere. Gupom's asking, what are the values for the caps on those Sims? They are 2.2 microfarad, 50 volt. Jesse says, I think it's time for me to buy a copy of the game. All right. Well, anyways, before we get too much further, because I would like to have time to work on the 286, I think it's about time for the following announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our favorite segment, Wheel of Regrets. Here's your host, Justin D. Morgan.
Hey, who comes up with these titles anyway?
All right, I do have one potential regret tonight. And I don't think it's the one I was hoping would arrive before tonight, but oh well. So this item comes to us from an eBay seller in North Kakalaki. So hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in North Kakalaki. For those of you that are not familiar with the really funny saying, or really funny pronunciation of some of our U.S. states, that's how funny dads say North Carolina. And I am not exactly entirely sure why I bought this, but maybe I want to fix something. And Thomas Armstrong says, you got to buy off Facebook, you can meet really different people. Well, eBay makes it too easy to buy stuff. Facebook, you actually have to drive somewhere, and a lot of times it's not exactly close. And I can't always get to places before things sell. Alright, we'll just set that there. We have a box of packing peanuts. And this mystery bubble-wrapped item. Jack's asking, is this an MFM controller card? No, it is not an MFM controller card. I will show you the bubble-wrapped item. And because they did not use an anti-static bag, it is probably easier to identify this item than it would be. Jack says, that's a very square PCB. Hardware Hackers guessing a Trident card. David Starbuck says, if peopling is a proper word, peopling is hard. Yes. Jack's asking, is this an MFM controller card? Gupum says, sweet, I have plenty of those. Probably referring to the capacitors. Hardware Hacker says, it's a PCB. Yes, it is a PCB. Jesse says, that's my problem with Marketplace. Everything cool is at least 1 hour away or in Minnesota. Yes. Except in my case, everything cool is usually, an hour away. Or in Maryland, North Carolina, or West Virginia. All of which are more than an hour away. Gupum says, I've been car shopping on Facebook Marketplace. Yes, if I was looking for a car, then I probably would be looking on Facebook Marketplace. Because quite honestly, with as many eBay regrets as I have, I don't think I would want to buy a car on eBay. Because I would probably end up getting the stolen, flooded, salvage, title washed car. Any other problems with the car I can add to, like, make it really exciting? It would look totally normal. Oh yeah, the stolen, flooded, salvage, title washed car that the delivery driver would accidentally lose off the back of the truck and it would crash through my garage. There we go. That would probably be how my eBay car shopping experience would go. So the police would be here repossessing the stolen car, and it would be in my garage because it would have just rolled down my driveway. David Starbucks says, car infested with bees. Yeah, that would be pretty bad too. Hi, Callan, welcome. Jesse says, Justin buys vehicle with ignored water pump and now has a bad head gasket. Yeah. All right, and no one guessed what this actually was. It is a SNES motherboard that is tested and working because I needed another SNES motherboard like I need another Trident card. Actually, you know, that kind of works. And quite honestly, I should probably test this before it gets too late. This one will actually fit the case that I have. Unlike the last motherboard I bought to try to repair my SNES, and it turns out that it was a revision that requires a different case than I have, or major plastic surgery and no reinstalling the RF shields. David says, test it before you lose it. Lol. All right, we'll test it here. Jesse says, that's exactly what happened with my parents' first Sable, although it had the Ford 3.8-liter engine in it, so the head gasket was already blown off the assembly line. Oof. Thomas says, a Jeep used as the explosives transport in a mine. Ooh. Yeah, that would be a pretty bad car. Especially if you happen to go to the airport and they were walking the dog in the parking lot looking for suspicious things. I think that dog would be signaling on that Jeep faster than you can say, here, let me give you a treat for finding what you're supposed to. Gutbum says, get a 3D printer for Black Friday, and case fitment issues for anything are a thing of the past. I'll let you take that as you might. Okay. Gutbum says, I know what you're getting now. I mean, I'm just guessing, but I bet I'm right. All right, Gutbum, if you want to guess, place your best guess in the chat, and if you're right, I will admit to it. If you are wrong, then you will just have to wait until I admit to it. And Gutbum is right. Dang nabbit. David says, I've never owned a Ford. Gutbum's laughing because he was right. Yeah, see what I get for posting it to a Discord of, hey, look at this deal I found? And make the comment of, yeah, now my coworker wants one too. Yeah, Gutbum saw right through that. Gutbum says, you'll love it. Dead reliable. Yeah, but yeah, I asked my coworker about it. He's like, at that price, I'd buy one. Yeah, the Bamboo P1S is $399 on Black Friday special. Oh, Gutbum says, oh, I didn't see your comment. I just saw their deal on their website. Jack says, P1S, good choice. Hardware Hacker says, hopefully now reliable than dead. Yes. Yes, hopefully it will be a very nice printer. Now, I will probably not set it up in the basement because my basement gets rather cold in the winter and that would not allow me to probably print very effectively in the winter. I will probably set it up in somewhere upstairs so that at least I'm not trying to print with an ambient temperature of 45 degrees during parts of the winter. Jack says, dang, $399. Wow. Yeah. I know. I saw that. Oh, actually, I first saw, like Tom's Hardware was saying that Amazon had the printer for some price with a coupon, which the coupon code didn't work. But then I thought that maybe I should check Bamboo Labs' website to see if they were running any better price. And yeah, the Bamboo Labs price was $100 cheaper than with this purported coupon that Tom's Hardware had on their website. So, of course, I just ordered it from Bamboo Labs. Harder Hacker says, is it monocolor or multicolor capable? All right, here's the deal. Most everything, or pretty much everything I'd want to print is single color. So I just bought the printer. I did not buy the AMS because you can buy that later. I know I would have saved, like, I could have bought it with the A1M or whatever they call it. And it would have been like 150 extra instead of 250. But I was like, I only print like 99% of the time. I don't actually need to print multi-filament because it's something that I could paint the second color on way easier than waste the plastic for multi-filament. So yeah, it's single nozzle, but it's AMS compatible, yes. Yes, so I can upgrade it in the future with AMS, but I did not order it with the AMS because 99% of the things that I can think of printing are either single color to begin with, or are something where the second color is used so little, I could take a paint pen and like fill in a depression, and voila, I have two colors. And I'm like, I'm not paying for a feature that wastes plastic just for the few times I could see me using it. So anyways, that's why I just bought the printer. I'm like, obviously, they are trying to sell upgrades, and I saw right through that, especially because I saw an article earlier in the week about, I forget the term they coined for it, but it was basically this new term that someone came up with to describe the fallacy of spending a whole lot more money just to get free shipping. And I kind of saw right through there. Of course, they want me to upgrade because that's more money in their pocket, and I don't think I'll use the AMS. So I didn't see through the upgrade. I just bought the printer. That was it. I didn't buy any filament from them. I didn't buy any accessories. Although they were running a special where it included a free set of the anti-vibration feet, but I didn't have to pay for those. So, because I'm going to order some filament from Polar Filament. I'm actually thinking of getting some PETG from Polar Filament. And Gutbomb says, I use my AMS like crazy. Remember, I'm going from having no 3D printer of my own to having one. Let me make sure I can use it effectively single color, and then we'll talk getting an AMS. Jack says, almost never print multicolor, and mainly just use my AMS for the convenience of always having 4 filaments available to print with without swapping anything. Yeah, I thought about that, but then I realized I can always add it later. Hardware Hacker says, I kind of wish my K1 was upgradable to multicolor capability. Yep. So anyways, that I did go ahead and buy the printer before they ran out, because I think part of their Black Friday special is they're trying to sell what they have of the P1S because they're about to release the P2S. But I realized that the P2S, being a new printer, is going to be full price and probably nowhere near $399. So I know, Mr. Tech Gadget, that adding it later is $100 extra, but Jesse says, I don't even know what an AMS is. I don't know what it stands for, but it's basically the multi-filament loader. But I'm like, I can't justify buying something I don't know if I'll use it or not. Not when I was like, yeah, Gutbomb says, yeah, you won't need it now. So yes, it'll cost me more later, but let's get me into printing before we get me into an AMS. It's like advanced, I don't know what it stands for. Yeah, David Starbucks says AMS is the doohickey that allows multiple spools of filament to be used. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what there. Thank you, Jack says automatic material system. Yes, holds multiple spools of filament and automatically switches between them. Yes. Let's get me into printing first. Then we'll talk about an AMS. I already have plenty of things I need to print in a single color. Either like platinum or beige or black. So let's get me into printing first. David Starbucks says, me being me, eyeing the H2D, which is dumb. Thomas says, Bamboo does a good job with the IBM cover plates. Yes, there are some replacement parts I will need to print because they're unobtainium otherwise. Jack says, each AMS holds 4 spools and you can connect 4 units for a total of 16 filament colors. I don't have a table big enough to put 4 AMS units on it. So, remember, printer's not going down in the basement. So the fact that I'm building a big workbench is not going to help the 3D printer. Mr. Tech Gadget says, if I could hide it from my spouse, I would get another P1S with AMS just to have a second AMS. Jack says, no one has a table big enough for that. Yeah. Bum says, 3D print yourself a workbench. No, I'm going to actually build the workbench. I have an idea of the lumber I need to buy. I haven't been able to catch my neighbor to see when we can go to Home Depot, so I think my lumber list is like 2 sheets of MDF, about a dozen 2x4s, hopefully not from the tree of the twisted tree of hot you're going to have fun building with this lumber. I've heard the Home Depot has better lumber than Lowe's. Oh, yes, I've been in our Home Depot now. It is wonderful. It is located in a spot in town just far enough where I don't usually go that way unless I need something, but I needed to stop by there, so. Jack says, oh, you'll be sifting through the pile for sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I will be. Gutbomb says, the 3D printer will come in handy for custom tool holders and mounts for things on the workbench, though. Yeah, I figure it will. Oh, yeah, although speaking of the workbench, I ordered some keyboard drawer slides from Rockler Hardware. They were on clearance. They came in today. I haven't opened the box. I probably should open the box. But then again, they were on clearance, so there's no returns, so it really doesn't matter. I ordered like 5 of them. Only because I've got a table that has a keyboard drawer that's kind of bad, so one of them's actually probably going to be used to replace the slide on that table. And I don't think I'm going to have 4 keyboard slides on my workbench, but I have thought about putting 3 on it. 1 to hold an ADB keyboard and mouse, 1 to probably hold like a PS2 keyboard and mouse, or a USB one that's PS2 capable, and then 1 to hold my streaming keyboard and mouse so I can still control OBS. Hi, Dave. Welcome. We're still in Wheel of Regrets because I started talking in the chat and I haven't been able to get the Quadra 700 off the workbench to be able to go grab the SNES parts to test the Wheel of Regrets entry. So let me get busy getting us to the point where we can finish Wheel of Regrets and get to that 286 motherboard. And the only reason, for those of you that just joined, why I didn't move the Quadra 700 off the workbench first was I was showing everyone that I had the VRAM Sims in the wrong slots. That's why I didn't see them on Monday. Oh, and also to be clear, they were in the correct slots that you just saw. I don't mind at all. Yeah, I don't mind if you share that link, Hardware Hacker. And before anyone wonders, I bought the P1S printer. So it's not a sponsored purchase. So if I think it's absolutely horrible, it probably won't be. But if I think it's an absolutely horrible printer, I will be able to tell you that. David Starbuck says, wow, you can get lasers for the H2D. David Starbuck is totally going to have a 3D printer with lasers in 3, 2, 1. I think I just heard the money drain from his checking account. Ha ha ha. But seriously, he's probably going to fall for it sooner rather than later. we will peer pressure him. Dave says lol. David says, no, I must resist. All right, we'll peer pressure you some more later. All right, so this is the motherboard I previously ordered, and it doesn't fit this case because, of course, Nintendo revised the case and standoffs and yada yada yada, and that's why I bought another SNES motherboard. I'm not going to completely reassemble this tonight. I'm just going to put it together enough that I can test it. Oh, I do need to go grab the cartridge slot. That would probably be very helpful. To have the cartridge slot from the motherboard I destroyed. Alright, so there's our controller. I don't need the RF shield. I don't need the... Alright, I don't need the screws or anything. I think the power adapter is sitting over to the side somewhere. Alright, let me go grab the cartridge slot. But after I find the AV cable... First, I'm going to find the AV cable that goes to the SNES. I know I've got it over here somewhere. Is that it? Oh, yep, there it is. Alright. Because I need to plug it into my scaler for sure. Oh, it may already be on the scaler on Composite 2. And let me go grab the cartridge slot. Because on this revision of SNES, it was not soldered. So all I gotta do is just slip this like so. And now I can put the game in, Super Mario World, like so. And now I can plug the power adapter in. See here? Yep. AC-DC adapter for SNES. Yep, it's a third-party adapter, but it will totally work. All right. And let's see here if I can plug the power in. All right. I believe that is enough for a working system, which is one. Well, so far so good. It does look like all the sprites are working correctly. You will not hear any audio because Nintendo. I think they are okay with gameplay. But I'm not going to push my luck. But yep, we can read the scores, we can read the text. We can see how bad I am at trying to get the Yoshi coin. Yeah, that was pretty bad. That might be another reason why maybe Nintendo's wouldn't want me streaming, just because I would show how bad I am, and that would reflect poorly considering the fact that I have a mustache and a cap and sometimes do wear a red shirt, and here I am, can't even just get a Yoshi coin. All right, fine. Oh. Why aren't you holding down the run button? I don't know which one's the, Dave says, it's nice to know someone who plays worse than me. Which one is the run button? I think it's a moot point, because I think I just managed to game over in a truly spectacular way. Why? Why is that the run button? That would probably answers your question why I wasn't holding the run button down. Because I always thought the controls were A and B. Of course, that's because I've never played this Mario. All right, I just want the Yoshi coin. We're probably going to get to the... there we go. All right. Gupum says, Justin, the world's most cautious... I don't know it's because I'm cautious. I think it's just because I suck at this game. I just want the Yoshi coin, but fine. Why do they have... Gupom is also defending me that I have scalar... Yes, I have scalar lag, too. Which is probably not helping at all. Yes, some of the bigger streamers have retro tinks, and... I mean, I do have a retro tink somewhere. but that still wouldn't help because it would still have to go into scaler for OBS, and Yoshi. Wait a minute, where did that mushroom come from? Let's see if I can finish one level. Wait a minute. Did I? There we go. At least I got a checkpoint. I'm trying to play it off the monitor that's to my right, but that's still going to have scalar lag. I think when I set up my workbench, I'm going to try to. I should have room to keep a small TV on the bench. So it will make it easier for playing things like this because I will be able to see the TV. But yeah, I'm totally playing it with scalar lag. Anyways, I think I've shown off that this SNES motherboard is working, so it is not a regret unless the audio doesn't work, but it probably does. David Starbucks says, my Grammy kicked butt at Duck Hunt. Gutbum says, I don't mean this in a bad way at all, but this is reminding me of when my grandma tried to play Nintendo. In order to have a splitter, it would require me to have room to have something to split the signal to. I think I have a splitter somewhere, but I don't have room on my workbench to put a TV. Which is another thing why I'm building I'm building a workbench. Or trying to get to that point. Because then I'll have enough room that I can put a TV on it. All right. So not a regret, fortunately. And let's see here. So there we go. David Starbucks says Grammy was from Texas and was a police officer, 4 foot tall and scary as heck. Yeah. Harder Hacker says, I'm going to try. All right. I think it's time to pull the 286 motherboard out. So let me go grab it from its hiding spot. And let's get to trace repairs. Great. We have. Funny. Oh, there it is. All right. I've got my Dremel out. And see if I can find one of the rubber polishing bits. All right, hold please while I try to find the rubber polishing bits. Oh, there they are. There we go. Okay. Harder Hacker says, I can confirm your coffee notifications aren't working. Yep, I warned, my warning at the beginning of the stream was correct. Thank you, Hardware Hacker. I am going to try to update OBS this weekend. I don't know if that's the reason why they're not working, because I'm using an old version of OBS. It makes no sense, because the notifications are just a web browser source in OBS, so I'm not sure why running an old version of OBS would be affecting that. Unless there's something about the way the web browser source works in OBS that I'm not aware of. Yes, maybe I should have air tagged these, but... Alright, and I am going to try to use my smoke absorber as kind of a rudimentary dust collector. Alright, so we have a charge. So, let's take a look at the damage I need to repair. I think the damage may be all on the... correction. I was about to say all on the bottom, but it does look like 2 of the traces are here. Jack says, I love the brand name Chips and Technology. Now we just have lame Amazon brands with no vowels. I mean, don't you just love telling someone to order the thing you need from the company that makes it seem like you're having a stroke when you pronounce their name? Harder Hacker says, oh, look, it's Trina's favorite power connector on that motherboard. Alright, you know, I think I might have miscounted the number of potentially bad traces. 1, 2, 1. Yeah, okay, it may be more than 4 now that I look at it. David Starbucks says, like, I can't even pronounce that. Sad Max says, or the one that makes you go, I swear, I'm not making this up! Yeah. Jack says, if that isn't a real Amazon brand, it should be David Starbuck. It's always more than 4. Yeah, no, it's always more than 4. What was that just... Alright, I think I just yeeted something off my workbench. Alright, let's look at this under the microscope. Because some of this is probably damage that will need to be fixed for us to have a shot at powering up. Which is why I haven't tried to power the board up yet. So, alright, so there's the battery terminal. We come back over here. So there's those 2 traces. And that is probably... Jack says, I have a 1 zilli ultrasonic cleaner, but that one has vowels. David Starbucks says, vowels cost extra. Yes. So... This is around the negative battery terminal. And it looks like those 2 contacts there are supposed to be connected. And those 2, and I have a feeling they're broken. And I think that's where the battery terminal was. Alright, let me see if I can make that stay. Alright, so I think the first thing I'm going to do is... try to see if I can clean this corrosion off. David's asking, did it have a Varda? Yes, it had a Varda. So, insert obligatory, this was Varda reference. anyone's wondering. Yeah, that cleaned up a little bit off the board. Alright, let me close that now. Harder Hacker says, oh hey, my VIC-20 R key with spring arrived today. Nice. Yeah, Dave says I removed it. Yes, Dave removed the Varda. I never got to see it. It in its state of leakage. Alright, so do we have a connection here? No, I don't know why I thought there would be. And here? Also no. I wonder if there's a connection... Oh, believe it or not, this actually still connects to ground, though. As disgusting as that looks. That actually still connects to ground. And Jack's asking Hardware Hacker how many VIC-20s he has. Alright, so it looks like our first two wires to fix are there and there. Jack says, I only have one VIC-20 as well, but one seems to be an unpopular number. Jesse says, there's a bunch of security boards at our jail that have Varda batteries soldered on. I tried to spray some contact cleaner through that, but I don't think it actually did. I was trying to maybe clean the corrosion off inside the via, but I don't think that actually did what I wanted it to do. Alright, we'll clean that up with some solder. Hardware Hacker says, Jack, only one? You don't seem to be keeping up with the Commodore. Are you keeping up with the Commodore? Alright, so let's see about these here. I'm going to try to... I think there's... This one connects... Okay, so this via here actually still has continuity, but the resistance is like... Yeah, the resistance is too high, so actually it's... Yeah, that's not good. And then this one here... Oh, that one's actually still making contact, so... Hopefully we can clean this up. I think this might just be... Oh, well... Yeah. So we got a broken... Fairly nearly broken trace here. In fact, actually that looks like the break right there. Oh no, actually there's still connection there. Oh, I bet the corrosion. I bet it's the corrosion on top of that via. So there's still a connection from here this way. We'll clean this up and make sure it doesn't corrode more. Now here, the other way, I don't see where that trace is going right offhand. I think I'm going to have to go to non-magnified. So I'm just trying to figure out what needs to be repaired on top. And then we'll go, and then I guess I'll probably repair it, and then we'll take a look at the bottom. So this trace here goes, does it go here? Yes. And there actually still is a good connection. And I think this other one probably goes here. Yep. All right. So these are not broken, but I want to clean them up. I have a feeling there's supposed to be a trace there. So this one's broken. This one's broken. And let's go back to magnification. Yeah, my microscope doesn't really want to stay in place, but yeah, that's broken. Okay. So there's 3 traces that need fixed on top, and a couple spots that we need to clean up so they don't corrode and break. Although, strictly speaking, the cleanup could happen after we test. Yeah, look at that goo. Wonder if I blast the VIA with contact cleaner, if it might. Oh, I think my can's almost out of contact cleaner. Oh, never mind. All right. Let's go to the other side of the board. And I'm going to first start with the vias for those points. And I think that's the first one. Yeah, that's definitely broken there. So hopefully, though, we can just fix... Ooh. Oh, okay, that's just some flaking solder mask. I'll put some solder on that to reinforce that. That, though, I'm pretty sure that's broken there. Oh. All right. Let's see here. Is there any chance that either one of these is making a connection? All right, that one is not. Although maybe right there. Oh, really? Okay, so right here, there's still copper and a trace. So we need to fix this back to here And if these 2 points really are just a via that's connecting them together to bridge that trace, I will probably actually make the bodge wire. Well, I'll try to do something to get this gunk out of the vias. But I may do the bodge wire from here to here, because I think the only thing on the top side of the board is a trace that was eaten away that connects these 2 vias, and I don't think it's probably not connected anywhere else. Yeah, it looks like there's toothpaste in those vias. Let me see if I can maybe get some of that corrosion out of there. I'm going to try a trick Brandon Bishop mentioned to me, although it wasn't necessarily for this, but I'm going to put like a drop of deoxit on top of this via. And I'm going to see if maybe that might... Jesse says at least the vias have no tooth decay. Yeah, seriously. All right, so I'm gonna let the deoxit maybe take care of some of that oxidation. I mean, it does look like it might be doing something, because there's little flakes of oxidation there. I was going to see if by chance I had a desoldering needle that was small enough, but I don't believe that I do, because I think it broke. Oh yeah, that's too big. Okay. Well, this one's got a little point on it. All right. Basically, I want to try to stop this corrosion so it doesn't like keep spreading in an inner layer. I may just have to try some vinegar. I mean, that might have done something. All right, so all right. Okay, let me try that trick, but I'll drop it from this side. And while I wait for that, let me turn on power to my soldering iron. Which means I'm going to have to move this board for a moment so I can try to reach for the switch, because I forgot my phone upstairs, like a person that had to plug their phone into a charger because it had 10% battery life left, and then I forgot to grab it. All right. Because what I'm going to try to do here I'm just going to try to methodically fix these issues, and what I'm going to first try is let me see if I can clean these vias up. Alright, so this big via here actually took some solder. I was kind of hoping to get the solder. Oh, there we go. I think. Ugh. Let me get that magnifying is getting in the way. Oh, I put some flux on the board. Trying to see if I can clean up any of these vias if there's any metal in them. I don't know that there is. Oh, look at that. I got a solder ball. Lovely. All right. the other reason why I was trying to clean the vias out is so that I can try to have a way that I could do something like this. So I'm going to stick this probe through this hole so I can confirm that these two vias, which are going to be, I guess, away from me before I flip the board, they should be towards me on this side of the board. And that does confirm that those two vias there are the ones that are just connected on the top side of the board. Yeah, don't forget to smash that like button. So what I'm going to do to fix that trace is I'm not going to fix the I'm not going to run the two wires through the via or try to I'm just going to jump these 2 points. Hardware Hacker says Hulk smash puny like button. So let's let me clean some flux off. I'll go ahead and jump a wire there, and then we'll go to the other vias around this area. And I'm thinking we might have a couple places where instead of bodging on the top side of the board, I think there's a couple of these vias are just simply routing traces around traces. So we might be able to fix them by a more direct route. Translation, jump the wires on the bottom of the board. So from the investigation on the top of the board, these two vias here don't appear to go to anything other than between those 2 points. So I think I can fairly safely expose some copper here. And here. Like so. I think I just realized there is and I just realized there's potentially a broken trace that is going to run underneath that repair, so let's check this. So there's the one end. So that comes around here. And it looks like it is possibly broken there. More than possibly broken there. There's a little copper missing there. That trace comes on around and goes to here. Oh, it does help to have your multimeter on. And yeah, that's a broken trace. Let me see if I can tell where it's broken. Is it broken? Actually, let me do this. go ahead and expose the rest of those traces there. And I think I do see that there is I think I see where the break is, but I'm probably going to fix this break. Knowing this is a 286 board, so things are probably a little less timing dependent than they would be if it was a newer board. I'm probably actually going to simply run my bodge wire between the two end points. But yeah, I definitely see... Okay, so we have a connection. So the connection's there. And there. Oh, the break is right... Oh, the break is like right there. Oh wow, that is such a small break. I'm almost wondering if I could apply... I'm actually wondering if I could fix that with solder. Yeah, because right there is that trace break. Right. Somewhere in there. I am actually wondering if I put... I put flux and a little bit of solder. I think there might still be a break there, but I can now see it a little better. All right. I don't think that fixed it. I'm probably going to have to add a wire. Or maybe if I can find a little component lead on my bench, that might work. Yeah, there's still a trace break. Yeah, right there's the break. Yep, that is the break right there. I don't know that... Actually, I think as close as that is to the next trace over, I'm just going to use a wire and fix that. So let's take a piece of Kynar wire. apply some fresh solder to that point. Take the end of the Kynar wire. Like so. Not the best solder joint, but it will be good enough. And then I will route this wire. In fact, I'll kind of roughly follow where it goes. Because there's not a lot of components for it to get stabbed with when I put it back together. And then I think this goes to there. Add some solder to that joint so I can tack the wire. Take the wire, cut it right like that, right there. Strip a little bit off of the end. Well, if I can strip. There we go. Now let me see if I can get the wire to play nice. And then I think that's where that goes right there. There we go. I think I got one broken trace repaired. We've got continuity. And I did not bridge those pins together, although you might have heard the beep when I touched these two pins together, and that's because they're actually connected together. But I did not bridge pins that weren't supposed to be bridged. Mike is looking for 15-inch screens for G4 Max. If anyone knows where they can be had. All right, one wire down. All right, next wire. All right, let's see here. I think the next wire is the one that goes over top of this one. So I'm going to, for this one, I'm going to cut a short piece of wire. like so. I'm going to strip the one end. Like so. I'm going to bend that wire to a 90-degree angle, like so. And that wire I will solder to there. And then I will, all right, and then I will strip this other end of the wire here. Like so, maybe not quite that long. I'll bend it. Oh. I will realize I slid the insulation when I stripped the wire and undid my right angle. So I'm going to fix the all right. So there's the one. That I'm going to solder here. All right. And then I'm going to attempt to solder it. There. Oh. Mike, one thing you might need to do to find a replacement panel is it might be easier to find a replacement panel if you have the model number of the panel that's in the iMac. Because then you can try to find that panel and not just an iMac screen, because you might be able to get the panel. Without, because that panel might have been used in other computers. But some people aren't going to, if they've never disassembled an iMac or even multiple iMacs, they may not know all of the panels Apple used, because Apple may have used more than one model panel. And that might open up the more panels for sale by knowing what panel or panels app will use than just iMac screen. Because you might find a new old stock panel or one from a PC. Alright, that is not the prettiest bodge wire, but I think it's serviceable. Let me see if I have a connection. So this trace goes down to here, I believe, which is off screen. I know you can't see that. And this one goes... Oh. All right, there we go. That fixed it. Oh. Am I busy breaking or fixing things? Right now I'm fixing things. So I fixed two traces. Two little traces. Ah. So now... let's see here. The next trace I should fix is... Alright. So this trace here... Oh. That goes there, and there. It goes all the way to there. Okay, so that trace is actually intact. So that's good. I am going to... take a little bit of solder and flux and just put a little bit of tin on that trace where I exposed the solder mask, and then double check that we still have continuity. We do, and I'm going to make sure we don't have a short with the trace next to it. So there we go. I don't think that trace was broken, but needed a little bit of reinforcing. All right, so kind of working around. So I got, I know we got a few more that need repaired. I think these two vias here are the ones that are supposed to jump across. So I'm trying to see. All right. So there is a break here. And then I know that, so I need to bodge from, I think, here across to here. And I think that will fix that. I'd really like to double check those vias. If I connect those, yeah, because this via here, that's broken there. This trace goes around to, oh boy. Oh, I'm not sure where that other trace goes. It goes all the way around the board. All right, that one I may just find a convenient spot where it separates enough from the trace that it's running beside. Yeah, that may be what I do. So for this trace here, the top one, I'm going to bodge it from here to wait a minute, I'm not sure that's the same via. Alright, so let me stick the multimeter probe through here. Alright. So one of these vias is no, alright, let me clean flux up. I'm having trouble following these two. There's that. I think we're going to have to continue this board on next week, because I don't think I'm going to get all these traces fixed tonight. Unfortunately, traces in this area are usually keyboard and chipset related. Which is why I'm trying to repair them before I power the board up. Because a lot of time they are more required. Alright. Actually, I think I did. Okay. Yep, I'm pretty sure that's correct. Alright. So it is this via here is the trying to see if these points here will take solder. And I am not too sure they are. Because that would make for a really convenient point to solder wires to. Oh, actually, that might be good enough. All right, let me make sure I still have continuity. From this point here to there. Okay, yep. And then from the next via over, that one goes there, and that one goes to there. Excellent. All right, so I can I would advise Mike that if you're going to get a beige monitor recapped, that you do it somewhere where you can hand deliver those monitors, because they are, a lot of those beige monitors are too fragile to ship. Or find someone who can recap it but has the necessary parts to test it so that you can just send boards. That would be my second suggestion. Because those beige monitors are very fragile. Okay, so this first trace here, I'm going to solder from here over to here. So let me cut a little bodge wire. Alright, I'm not going to try to cut it too short. This is a 286, so I'm not as worried about timing. Night, Dave. We'll see you Sunday. Actually, you know, I might continue working on this board on Dave's stream on Sunday. That might be another idea. Alright. First, let me put a little bit of solder on this exposed part of the trace. And I'll tin the one end of the wire here. And then, hopefully, I can set this wire down. So that it's parallel with the trace. To the insulation on two wires together. Okay. I think that did not tag. Alright. There we go. That side's tacked. Now let me see if I can get the wire to cooperate. And do one even better. See if I can get it to go down in the via. Oh, that's not working very well. Alright, this bodge is not working very well. I don't have a good point to solder to. Alright, let me try a different end point for this bodge. So I will still go from here, but instead of trying to bodge to this via, I am going to bodge to where that via goes to, which is where about that long. There we go. And all right. So again, I will have Struggle City while I try to solder this wire. This trace. Okay. Well, got it soldered there. And now I got to figure out where that goes to again. So this goes to point right there. There. Okay. Now, let's see if we still have continuity. Let's see, where's that trace goes? There's a point. Excellent. I didn't get the that soldered very well. All right. Well, that's not going to stick. All right. Let's try another lodge wire. This time, I'm going to go from this via here. Which is where the other end of that trace goes. Actually, put the wire into the via, and now through some careful wire routing and Captain tape that will be added later, I will route this wire like so to where it needs to go, and it's probably off camera. I will show you where it goes in a moment. Goes here. There we go. That broken trace has been repaired. So now I've got 3 little fixed traces. Now, here's the tricky one. So this via here, which is where this other wire. All right. This via here goes this wire around and down and should go here, I think. Having trouble getting my multimeter probe on it. Let me add some magnification. Oh. Alright, so it should be this via here. Oh, there may be a broken break in the trees. Alright, so that via there should be connected to here. Okay. Still having trouble confirming the trace. Okay. When in doubt, give yourself a little bit of exposed copper to all right. There we go. And now I just tinned them so that there's not bare copper there. All right. So now I should be able to oh, my multimeter was in the wrong mode. That's why. Probably why it wasn't actually working. Okay, so, but anyways, in case there's a break here at the via now, so this trace here should be connected to there. All right, and it is. And so that I don't lose track of that, I'm going to see if I've got a marker. Draw an arrow to it. Like so. That's where the one end of this bodge needs to go. Right there. Yep. All right. Now, here's the trick. I don't know if this is a fancy 286. I don't know what fancy is in terms of 286, but Dave sent me the board. It's got trace damage. I'm repairing it, and I'm going to repair all the trace damage before I try to power it up. I will make it a fancy 286. All right. It's going to be a multi-night 286. I think I'm going to fix this trace, and then that's where the stream's going to have to end, because I'm not quite sure I've got all the broken traces. Callan says, free is always fancy. Yes. All right, so here's the deal. This trace that we're following, it's this one. So here's that first trace the trace I just fixed last, that I tacked it in the via. This trace that's coming on around past that is where this other trace goes to, and the problem is, so it comes around here, and this is easy enough to follow, to right here, but then it joins a whole bunch of other traces. So I think it's this trace here, and it comes on around. Oh, and I think it goes there. Is that correct? Yes. All right. So there we go. Might be a J286. Hardware Hacker says, can anyone guess what the J means? Does it mean, does the J stand for Justin? As in it's going to be Justin's 286? Or is that too obvious? All right. Janky. Yeah, this is going to have a little bit of, potentially a little bit of big bad bench. There we go. There's one end. I am somewhat half tempted to not run the wire the same way it was running, but then again, maybe I should at least somewhat run it the same way in case there's like something on one of those other signals that might crosstalk. I'll have to get some Captain tape to, or find my hot glue gun. We have a winner. I like the blue bodge wire, says Jack. Hardware Hacker says we have a winner. Oh. Oh, yeah. And at the moment, though, all my bodge wires are on the bottom of the board, so once I put it in the case, you'll never know. But you'll know. But you'll never know. You know what I mean. Alright, so there we go. Let me double check my work. So that pad should be connected here. Yep, and it should be connected here. And it is. And we shouldn't have a short to the next trace over. No, we don't. Alright, so there we go. We have four little and not so little bodge wires. Thunderclap. But unfortunately, I don't know that we quite have everything fixed, but it is almost midnight, so that is where I'm going to have to call the stream. So don't forget to smash that like button. Yeah, don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe and turn on notifications if you'd like to know when I go live next. I think next week I will be back to Tuesday and Thursday live streams. Also, we will be no longer in daylight savings time, so my live streams will be starting at 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern respectively. But it'll be Eastern Standard Time, not Eastern Daylight Time, which totally means I'll be driving home in the dark every night. Ugh. But, well, I guess that is the price we pay for having a beautiful fall. Yep, the clocks will eventually change. I have not figured out what we will be doing next week, but I may continue on this motherboard during Dave's stream, since Dave sent it to me. Yeah, you gotta change all the clocks this weekend. Hey, at least you're not Doc Brown with all his clocks. Reminds me of something my one of my nieces said. I don't remember when it happened, but so they went to my grandparents' house once, and they're walking in the garage, and my grandfather had clocks all over the house, and the garage had, I mean, there were probably, I don't know, at least a dozen clocks in the garage. And then clocks everywhere in the house. So one of my nieces is walking through the garage and just bluntly asks her parents, "Can Grandpa not tell time?" Anyways, I thought you might appreciate that clock-related humor. I don't know, Grandpa just had a clock collection, I guess. Sadback says, "Lol, sounds like something I would have asked about my grandmother." Yeah, Harder Hacker says, "Lol." Lol, question mark. Anyways, yeah, so don't forget, if you're in the United States, don't forget daylight savings time ends. Well, if you're in the United States, but not if you're in one of the parts that doesn't celebrate it, or I don't know. It's weird when it comes to daylight savings time. Yeah, you might or might not have to change your clocks. Dinosaur will threaten to eat me if I don't change the clocks. Luckily, most of them will auto set. So, but yeah, we will be doing things next week. I haven't decided what, and it might depend on how far we get on. That I might get on Dave's stream working on this board. So, I may, though, one stream might be video game related, because I do have a number of video game related things that need repairs. So, we might have a video game related stream next week. But yeah, so I'll try to decide this weekend. Hi, Joe. Bye, Joe. Good night, Joe. Harder Hacker says I'll probably not be on Dave's stream. Yeah, I think this is the weekend I'll be able to be on Dave's stream longer, although I was on his stream pretty long last week. But anyways, with that, I'm glad you all joined. I would like to point out that I believe I had a steady bandwidth tonight. The dropped frame counter in OBS is at 0, and I am somewhere about 7.25 kilobits a second. So, yay for Comcast. We didn't get a 404 error, bandwidth not found. But anyways, oh yeah, you all didn't see the bottom of my shirt. I thought this one was genius, so there you go. You can see what the shirt says. The costume you are looking for was lost or moved, or might have never existed. Yeah, Jack says 0 drop frames, not bad. So yeah, error 404, costume not found. Anyways, Harder Hacker says lol. So yeah, with that, I'll schedule next week's streams and we'll look at something fun. I'm sure of it. Thomas says, let's test some Amish computers. You can get them on eBay. Amish computers? All right. Good night, everyone. Yeah, I'm starting to babble. So anyways, with that, I hope to see you all here next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on notifications so you know when I go live next. Smash that like button. If you're watching the replay, drop a comment if there's something that you'd like to see return on the bench. Or maybe a regret I've forgotten about that you're like, hey, when are you going to look at this? So with that, I hope to see you all here next time. Hopefully, maybe I might have actually gotten a chance to swap video cards in this computer, update the video card drivers, and update OBS, and maybe that might fix coffee notifications. I hope so. But with that, I hope you all have a great rest of the day. And, yeah, let's see here. Let me make sure I got my finger on the correct thing. Yep. Thank you, Callan, and good night. So anyways, have a great rest of your day. If you go trick-or-treating tomorrow, or take your kids trick-or-treating, do be safe. Watch out for candies with hidden new teams in it. I know Microsoft is really pushing that Teams, so do make sure to check your kids' candy for new teams, because it's not a team player all the time, and you never know when Microsoft's just going to sneak in that new feature that no one asked for. So do check your kids' candy for that. I mean, you might also need to check it for Copilot, but new teams, yeah, definitely make sure you check that candy for that. And, yeah, ha. Yeah, you can probably tell which of the Microsoft apps I kind of get annoyed with the most. Jack says, I am questioning if I have enough Halloween candy. Thomas says, oh, candy night. So, yes, do be safe tomorrow, but have fun. I'll on the one day of the year where we tell our kids, no, it's totally fine to ask strangers for candy, as long as they're not giving candy away from a van. But yeah, do check that candy for new teams, because Microsoft will hide it everywhere. And with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Take care, and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.